What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the Crypto Catch Up. Of course, your favorite place to catch up on crypto. Now, what I want to do is kind of give you an outline of what in the world is going on in crypto because it is getting kind of weird. You know, we had the volatility, the ups, the downs, and everyone was freaking out and screaming and excited all at once. And now this market's kind of gone quiet. Things have kind of slowed down. Everyone's kind of left, and we're all sitting here just wondering what in the world is going on. Why are things so weird right now? And so my goal in today's video is to update you on exactly what's happening, why I think this is a good thing, and what I'm doing as a result of it. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, my friends, and let's get straight into the video. So what we're going to start off on is looking at volume 196 of the Digital Asset Fund Flows weekly report by our friends over at CoinShares. Now, what this allows us to do is get an idea of what is happening with the whales. Of course, I've told you guys on multiple times. I think the whales they're the ones who have the most influence on these markets, right? When they're buying and when they're selling dictates and, kind of decides, in my opinion, where this market generally goes, because, the crypto market is one in which so it can be manipulated, and that's just the truth of the matter, right? And so being able to pay attention to what the whales are doing is incredibly important. Now, what you'll be able to see here is what the whales have done on a weekly basis, and what we can see is that last week things slowed down a lot. Each one of these little blue candles, if it goes up above this zero axis right here, it means it's a positive week of inflows, meaning more whales bought than sold. And then of course, if it goes below that axis, then that means that more whales sold than bought. And what we can see is that each one of these little weekly bars goes up to right here, and this is last week. And just like we saw right here, just like we saw right here, and just like we saw right here, we saw a very, very slow week for the whales. Only $30 million worth of inflows, which is good, right? It was good that we saw inflows, but realistically not a ton happening there, especially coming after the fact that we saw so much craziness. $2.4 billion within 1 week was absolutely nuts, and that was only just a few weeks ago. And so because of that, of course, we can start to get the idea of why this market's starting to slow down a ton, right? What we can see here is that there was just a lot of balancing out. iShares came in with $147 million worth of inflows, while Grayscale had $300 million worth of outflows. Fidelity had $80 million of inflows, while 21 Shares had 48 of outflows. And then across many of the other smaller ones, we saw $108 million worth of inflows to help cancel out some of these sells right here. And so, of course, because of that, what realistically happened last week was some whales were buying and some whales were selling. And it ended up evening out so much that there was only a tiny amount of inflows, a tiny amount of positivity, leading this market to not really do too much last week. And I think that goes to show the influence that the whales do have over this market in general. In times in which they're not doing much, the market's not doing much. And that is concerning to me, but it's not surprising, because at the end of the day, people need to understand retail is not back. Everyone's going to try to convince you, and everyone's going to try to say that retail is here and that the market's fully upswing. Retail is not back. You can see all social metrics. You can see all social gauges. Let me actually see if I can. It's going to take too long. But what I want you to do is I want you to go to Google Trends and type in crypto and just go look. Just go look at those metrics. It's not going to take too long. You got a second. Let's go. Google. Give me 1 second. Google Trends, and then let's just go look at it. I mean, it's crazy. Let's just do this. Crypto, okay? And then let's just do. I mean, even if we do the past 5 years, look, this is 2021. This is the end of 2021. This is 2022. We are lower in just overall reach and people looking up crypto and in the world of crypto in terms of metrics than we were even in the bear market, right? The lowest point of the bear market is around where we are right now. And that's what I mean when I say that retail is not back. We have not seen it come back. And that goes for most things, right? Even if you look at just Bitcoin, right? If you just look at Bitcoin in general and you compare those search terms, it's similar. Bitcoin's a little bit higher and it has these little spikes, but at the end of the day, we are not here yet. We're not back yet. And so, of course, because of that, seeing that on a week in which the whales don't do much, the market don't do much because retail's not doing much. And that's, some people feel some type of way about it. Some people feel good. Sometimes people feel bad. I think it's a good thing personally, because it's like, okay, well, what happens when retail does come back? Because they will one day. That's just how it happens. But the economy needs to get better. People need to have more money. It's just that simple. And will they ever have as much money as they had in 2021? Maybe not, right? But people will come back. It's just how this is going to go. And so, of course, because of that, maybe we could see Bitcoin fly up to 80, 90K once retail is involved, right? Those are the types of catalysts that can allow that to happen. But right now, that's just not the case, okay? And so because of that, of course, this market is looking rather slow. Now, on top of that, what we're also seeing is that people are still fearful. And what you have to understand is that when people are still fearful, those are usually the times in which this market ain't going to do too much, right? Because what you have to understand is that fear is almost directly correlated to uncertainty, right? And uncertainty causes people to not truly have good conviction, right? We see some people who test their luck and they go in with big leverage and they get liquidated and lose, sure. But when people are fearful, it's almost more a feeling of uncertainty rather than fear. Fear is a big word, right? Uncertainty is a little bit more of a clear word in the sense that people don't truly know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen in this market over the next few weeks. We're kind of just a part of the ride. We're kind of just buckled up and waiting to see what happens, right? And so, of course, because of that, in moments of fear, aka uncertainty, people are not going to commit to much, right? They're not going to go as big on their buys. They're not going to go as big on their shorts. They're not going to commit to these trades as much. And in moments like this, in which we are seeing fear so high, the fact that we spent the last 7 days straight in fear, and in the last month we spent 16 days either in fear or in extreme fear, that's going to lead people to not want to commit. They're not going to go super big on leverage to the upside or to the downside, leading the market to end up in these little consolidationary moments in which it's just not doing anything. And so because of that, you have a time in which the whales are canceling each other out, and then people, retail investors, are uncertain and fearful, therefore they're not doing any much, leaving the market and putting the market in a place in which not much is currently going to happen. And so because of that, personally, I think this is a good thing. I don't think this is a bad thing. I think the fact that we have calmed down is a good thing. And the reason that I say that is because, guys, we just saw a scary move to the downside. The total market cap fell below this descending channel it was in, which could have easily led to massive losses, but it didn't. The bulls pushed the price back up. But now that we're back up in here, let's just calm things down a little bit. That was a scary move. That was not a good move. And the fact that we're back in here, it's like, okay, maybe we're good. Let's calm down. Because what I will tell you is that when you lose a level of support like that, if you lose it and you come right back down to it, the chances of you pulling back down through that thing are very high. And the longer we stay in here, the more time we spend back in this channel, the more likely it is that we're going to try to push back up towards the top of it, leading this market in an upward direction. So I think that this is a good thing, and I have been dollar cost averaging, as I mentioned before. I think from a macro perspective, I still have a ton of conviction that this market will move upwards over time. The easiest way to represent that is just by showing you guys the 30-day liquidation map. So many more people will get liquidated to the upside than the downside. It's not a ton more, but there's a lot more. And so because of that, I still think personally that knowing that the majority of liquidations are to the upside, the market's more likely to move to the upside over the long term. And that's what I'm betting on by doing my dollar cost averaging right now when the market's not doing too much. And so that's where we are in the market right now. It's a mixture of uncertainty leading people to be scared to commit and whales canceling each other out, leading this market to not do shit. And as annoying as it is, it's not a bad thing. What I'm doing is I'm just dollar cost averaging into it, okay? And so with that said, I hope this was helpful, kind of giving you an understanding and an idea of where this market is right now. Guys, please don't forget, this is a brand new YouTube channel. We're only 2 weeks and 2 days old, and we're currently pushing up to 700 subscribers currently. We have a goal of 1,000 subscribers by October. So if you can help us with that mission by subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and maybe even dropping a comment so more people see this, that'd be absolutely phenomenal. But at the end of the day, all I ask is that you tune in tomorrow when we do another catch up on crypto, and I hope to see you all there. Peace out, everybody.